guys, welcome back to Style by Toria channel. I hope you guys are doing great. If it's your first time on this channel, you're highly welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I am super excited to have you here. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell so that whenever I upload new videos, you will be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for always coming back to watch my videos. I really appreciate that. So today I'm going to show you how to cut and sew a bubu gown with a hood or hoodie. I don't know. Alright, so the measurement needed for this gown are round hip, then the length of the gown, our knee height. The gown is going to have the gown is going to be a cut together sleeve gown, okay? And for the sleeve, we're going to place our tape, this our neck bow at the center back, okay? Then we extend our tape this way to our desired length, okay? So for the hoodie measurement, we're going to place our tape this way for our hood length. Make sure it's not tight. You can turn your head, okay? And I have 32 inches. It's always 32 inches or 30 inches, okay? And for the width of the hood, we're going to place our tape this way. Make sure your tape is out from your face, okay? This way. So I have 24 inches, okay? So let's get to the cutting table. Okay, this is the fabric I'll be working with. Is 4 yards of chiffon fabric, okay? So I've already folded into 4. The top part is on fold, as you can see, but I'll still open up the shoulder, okay? So for the length of the gown, I'm going to be working with 60 inches, okay? So for the neck measurements, for the center back, I'll be working with 3.5 inches width and 1 inch depth, okay? So for the center front, the neck is going to be a V-neck, okay? So what I'm going to do is to place my tape on that 3.5 inches measurement, and I'll extend this way. So for the center front, I'll be working with 8 inches, okay, for that V-neck, and this is my 8 inches I will mark. Remember that the front is going to have opening from my waist down to the length of the gown, okay? So here I'm going to mark my 1 inch for the opening, okay, and 1 inch for the opening at that 8 inches point, okay? So I'm going to connect this way. From that 3.5 inches point, I'll connect to the 8, okay? And for the center back, I'll connect this way. I hope you're seeing it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to determine the length of my sleeve. Remember, the gown is cut together sleeve gown, okay? And for the length of the sleeve, I'll be working with 27 inches. I'm going to work, okay, 27.5. So I'll be using the whole of the fabric as in this length, okay? Next, I'm going to mark out my hip measurement. My hip height is 25 inches. So this is 25 inches here. And for the round hip, I'll be working with 44 inches divided by 4 will give me 11 inches. Okay, so I'll be adding extra 3 inches to it. So I'll be having a 14 inches. Okay, so this is my 14 inches here. Next is to mark out my knee measurements. For the knee measurement, I'll be working with 34.5 inches, okay? So I'm going to mark the same thing I have at my hip. I'll also mark the same at my knee, okay? So this is it. So I'm going to extend that 14 inches down to the length of the gown, okay? Now for my sleeve opening, I'll be working with 12 inches. But before I do that, from the top part, that is from this shoulder, I'm going to come down by 1.5 for my shoulder slants, okay? So I'm going to connect this shoulder 1.5 to the neck, okay? So this is it. Okay. So for the sleeve opening, I'm going to place my tape on that 1 inch drop down, okay? And I'll mark 12 inches. And this is it. So this 12 inches point, I'll come in by 2 inches, okay? This is my 2 inches. And at that 2 inches point, I will connect to my knee measurements this way. And I will go down to the length of the gown. I hope you are seeing what I'm doing. I hope you are not confused. Before I start cutting out my gown, I'm going to mark where I'm going to sew the inner belt. The gown is going to have an inner belt, okay? So for the inner belt, I'm going to be placing the inner belt around my underbust. So for the underbust, I'll be working with 11 inches. Okay, this is 11 inches. And my round underbust is 32 inches divided by 2 will give me 8 inches. So it's at that 8 inches point I'm going to place my belt. Okay, or let's work with the waist. My waist measurement is 34 inches divided by 4 will give me 8.5. So I'm going to mark 8.5 on my underbust height. Okay, so I'm going to be sewing the belt inside. If you have watched my previous video on how to draft a bubu gown with an inner belt, you understand this. So this is the mark. I'm going to be placing my inner belt. So I'm going to turn to the other side and mark, so I will know where to, sew my inner belt. Okay, remember the inner belt is going to be inside, not outside. Okay, I would suggest that you go back and watch that video. I'll be leaving a link at the description box. Okay, so next I'm going to cut out the gown. Now it's a very simple gown. If you are still confused, please go over and watch the video again and again. You understand? Okay, so I'm going to cut out the gown now. So I'll be cutting the center back neck first. When I'm done cutting, I'll separate the back from the front and I will cut the center front neck, okay? So this is the center back neck. So the gown is going to drape from the sleeve down to the knee. So by the time we finish sewing, we'll see how it's going to look like. Okay, so this is it. Next, I'm going to cut out the shoulder slants. So this is the shoulder. going to separate the front from the back so I can cut out the front neck, okay? So our gown is already looking beautiful. So let me separate the back. So this is our back. Okay, I'm done cutting the center front neckline. As you can see, this is a V-neck. And I also open up the center front. Remember, we're going to have slits from the waist to the down part of the gown, okay? So for the hoodie, I'm going to measure my center front neckline, and I want the hood to stop at 5 inches, okay? Remember, I need 0.5 to join the shoulder together. So when I minus that 0.5, I should have a 4.5 inches, okay? So I'm going to measure the back neckline. I'll fold and I'll measure. I'm taking the measurement on fold, okay? So this is it. I have 4.5 here. When I minus 0.5 for joining the shoulder, I will have 4 inches. So 4 inches plus 4.5 for the front will give us 8.5. So round our round neckline is 8.5 on fold. Okay. Okay. I'm going to start drafting our hood now. So from this line to this line is 16 inches. Remember that the length of our hood is 32 inches divided by 2 will give us 16 inches, okay? And the width of the hood is 24 inches divided by 2 will give us 12 inches. So I have 12 inches here and 16 inches as my length, okay? Next, I'm going to mark the neckline measurement, which is 8.5. So this is 8.5 here. So at the point of that 8.5, I'll go up by, let's say, 1/4 here, and I'll mark. With my French curve, I'll connect the this point and this point. I hope you are seeing it. Next, please, this side is going to be our center front, and this side is going to be our center back. So at our center back, I'm going to get the midpoint. So the midpoint is at 8 inches, and this is 8 inches mark. Okay, this is 8 inches. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to connect this point to the midpoint, okay? Using my ruler, I will connect this way. Okay. From this edge here, I'm going to measure 2 inches this way. Okay. This is my 2 inches. So with my French curve, I will connect this point to this point and this to back to this width, okay, to this line. This is the simplest way of drafting your hood. There are other different ways in which you can draft your hood, but this is the simplest form I can, teach you. So I'm going to place my curve ruler this way. I want to connect this midpoint to this 2 inches point, okay? So using my French curve, I'm going to position it this way. I'm trying to get a perfect curve, okay? So I'm going to connect See what I'm doing? I'm connecting. Okay, then I'll connect back to this line. Okay. I hope you're not confused. Please don't be. Okay, so this is a hoodie. So next thing I'm going to do is to come down by 1/4 here. So so that our neck will balance well. Okay. Okay, so this is it. So we're going to cut this out and we'll use it to cut 4 pieces. Two pieces is going to serve as lining, then the other one is going to serve as the main fabric. Okay, so I'll go and cut now. So I'll start cutting. Okay, so I'll use this pattern and cut out my fabric. Okay, then I'll come back and show you. Please remember to add a 0.5 seam allowance around the hood. Okay. Okay, I'm done cutting out my hood. As you can see, I cut 4 pieces. Okay, so I'm going to go and join now. Okay, and I'll come back and show you. I'm also going to join the bubu shoulder to shoulder, back to the front. I'll sew my front as in the opening. I'm going to fold the slits, then hem the down part. Fix. Okay, I'm not going to fix the hood now. I will come back and show you how to do it. Okay. Okay, I'm done sewing my gown. I have joined the sides, hem the sleeve, the down parts. Okay, and I close up the space. Stop at the waist. That is at the center front. So this is the neckline. So the next thing I also join my hood. See. So the next thing I'm going to do is to attach the hood to my gown neckline. Okay. So what I did was to notch the center back. This is it. This is the place I notch the center back. Okay. For the front, that is the neckline, I notch the 4.5. Remember, I measured 4.5 where my hood is going to stop. Okay, so I notch that part and also the side. So what I'm going to do is to join the hood this way. This is the center, this is the midpoint. Okay, so I'm going to hold this part, come to the center back and hold and join the notch to the midpoint of my hood. Okay, I'll use my pin to hold it down. Okay, and so this part, that is the end part, I'm going to pin it to the front where I notch. This is it. Okay, I'm going to pin it down, and I'll also do the same at the other side of the front neck. This is it. This is my notch. I'm going to pin this way. I hope you're seeing what I'm doing. So I'll go back to my machine and sew the hood. Okay. So another thing I want you to note is that I attach my inner belt. The belt is inside the gown, you see. But if you don't want to attach your inner belt, if you want a detachable belt, what you're going to do is to increase this your sleeve opening to maybe 22 unfold, okay? And when you finish sewing your belt, what you're going to do is to place your belt at the front this way, then insert your belt inside your sleeve and tie inside, okay? That way you still create another style, okay? That is if you don't want the inner belt now, okay? So I'm going to sew round and use this bias tape to cover the rough edges, okay? Then I'll come back and show you my finished work. Okay, I'm done fixing my hood. As you can see, I also cover the rough edges using a bias tape. So I'll go over now and put it on so you can see the fitting. This is me rocking my gown. If you like this tutorial, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Share this video, leave a comment if you have one. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye.